Hello Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading with me, Cindy. So what we're doing this week, Scorpio, is we're looking at your release and your receive. So what is it that the universe would like you to release? And what is it that the universe would like you to receive? So we're going to get started with the Energy Oracle deck to see what Scorpio's release and receive is. The release and the receive for Scorpio. All right, Scorps, let's see what you got. What is the release? The release for Scorpio. The release for Scorpio. So funny, somebody else had this in this spot. I can't remember who it was. All tied up. Actually, I want to say I think this is at least the third time this card has come out in this spot. So the good news about this is if there's something that you feel like that you've been stuck, you can't move, you're trapped, there's some kind of circumstance or situation likely outside of your control. Because I know Scorpio, you're going to find a way. If it's up to you, you're going to figure it out. You're going to do it however it needs to get done, you're going to do it. So, but if you've been like in this energy, something is likely outside of your control, you're releasing it. It's being released. The universe is releasing that for you. That's nice. Let's see what else comes out. Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to keep shuffling to get your receipt. But the broken heart is at the bottom as we talk about release. So the receive for Scorpio. The receive for Scorpio. Receive for Scorpio. Receive for Scorpio. Receive for Scorpio. You got two. Did anyone else get two today? Oh, wow. The second chakra and the door to personal healing and happiness. Second chakra is like the house of the soul. This is such an intimate place within us. It's just kind of like if you're receiving this and you're receiving the door to personal healing and happiness, this has been, you know what I like about this? This is what's been going on lately in the channel. It's like I'll start with Aquarius and I'll work my way through the zodiacs. And a lot of times it's kind of like if a story was told in one of the other zodiacs, if it doesn't get picked up in the next one, it seems to get picked up like at another point. And I'm sure that this has been a theme that's come up. I think it was Taurus and I think it was someone else that had this personal door to healing and happiness come into the receive. Now, what's really interesting about yours though, is that you have this second chakra with it. And it really amplifies a message that's been coming out this week with this door to personal healing and happiness in this position. And that has been up to this point, it's been the last step in your healing process is the first step in your happiness. Like, right? Like it's the end of that in a way, and it's the beginning of something else, which is kind of great for that to come through with Scorpio being all about endings and rebirths. Now, what it gets specifically with you, this second chakra is this is a very deep, intimate place. Like this is a place that we do not let a lot of people into because it's a very vulnerable place. This is really like the most intimate place that we have to share, and we protect it. Well, most of us, I think, will protect it if we're fairly healthy in relationships and ourselves too, because there are elements like it's like your underbelly. If you're a dog, you're not going to expose your underbelly to a bunch of wolves. If they're just going to go right in, right? You might try to run first. It's just like that. It is a very sensitive, delicate area. And I'm kind of feeling like this is the last spot in you. It is the deepest area that can be in you. That is the last little spot here for this personal healing that's going to go on, that's going to happen for you. Being all tied up is kind of feeling constrained, not being able to move or express yourself, or even, kind of go in the direction you're hoping to go in, maybe in life or an aspect of your life. And this feels freeing. Look at this. Her hands are actually tied in front of her and clasped in front and hiding the second chakra. right? It's actually hiding, protecting that second chakra. And then here the second chakra is open. It's open. So that's nice. The bottom you have the 5th chakra, Archangel Michael. So the 5th chakra, as you can see, like his throat area, his throat chakra is lit up. So the information, communication is the key somehow to the basis of your reading, because it's the underline. For me, it's the reason we're here. And then the rest of it is telling us the story. Communication, whether it's you communicating to someone else or someone communicating to you, or the back and forth of that. And this is where it gets really interesting. And this, I'm going to go into my El Key Shihu Oracle deck. And we're going to try to get a card for each area. And it kind of makes you think outside the box, these cards. And it might even kind of bring to the surface anything that is something you don't want to bring to the surface, or you weren't really aware of it either. Like, oh. So the release for Scorpio. This deck, oh, look at that. Look at how fast that came out. She who knows, wisdom, clarity, resolution. You're really, wow, but that's a release. Isn't that interesting? Because you have the 5th chakra under here. And when there's communication, there's the collection of information, right? Like you're communicating, someone's communicating to you, you're receiving information. You're receiving, hopefully, clarity. If you're communicating to someone, you will be conveying that too. But she who knows, wisdom, clarity, resolution. This is also, well, it's kind of telling me that however you see a situation, if this situation, whatever it is in your life that you're feeling tied up on, like it's something outside of your control that you really feel like you have no control over this. You're just like a bystander almost in some sort of aspect of your life. You don't know why. You probably don't know why. You don't have the facts. You don't have the facts. Because she who knows. So you release that. You release it. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. That's the only way I could see that card. You guys can interpret it how it applies to you too, right? But it's she who knows, and you're releasing that. Release what you think you know about what is keeping you stuck. What is keeping you stuck? Particularly if it's something that is outside of your control. Something in your life that is outside of your control, that you don't really have involvement in it. It's indirectly affecting you. Wisdom, clarity, and resolution. So if you think you know, there is no clarity yet. There is like releasing that. Perhaps too, it is the releasing of clarity, right? Because this is sitting underneath. This is sitting underneath. So communication of some sort. Speaking out for yourself, speaking up for yourself also. To release your clarity, to allow others to know. To allow others to know, because this could actually be what is tying you up. You know, when there's something that you really know, something that you really want to express or state, but you can't, it makes you feel very tied up. It's like the freedom of expression that we have for ourselves. And I mean, you can look at that on a very grand scale throughout, you know, the media and how we want to receive information and put it out there. But even just on a personal level, like if there's something that you've been holding back on saying to somebody, and as long as it's, you know, if you're holding back on it, there might be, because you're tied up, some ideas or preconceptions you have about it and how it could affect that person. Let's see what the receive is going to be here for you. It's interesting. This can really come out in a lot of different ways. I'm going to be pulling out tarot, some tarot cards on this too. So let's see. The receive for Scorpio. The receive for Scorpio. The receive for Scorpio. The receive for Scorpio. It's always when I look away. She who becomes, metamorphosis, transcendent journey. She who remains, powerful devotion and true worth. Ooh. Oh, wow. Interesting combination when it's linked to what's down here already with the second chakra. Because this individual, it is she who remains, powerful devotion and true worth. It's almost like you don't feel that somehow in some aspect of your life if you are all tied up. If something is holding you back. But this little area here could also be considered the Achilles heel. This tiny little, this second chakra. This could be the Achilles heel for you right now. But this is, you're receiving the strength in that really because it's opening up. And in here we have true worth. I would really link that to the second chakra because it is the house of the soul. It is the most intimate aspect of us. It is our truth. It is who we are and how much we share of that with others and how intimate that sharing actually becomes. The metamorphosis, I can see that for sure with the door to personal healing and happiness. So there's some sort of a change coming. A nice change because you felt like you can't move and now you're getting all this freedom, and this freedom seems to be linked to finalizing a healing process for you and starting a journey in a happy cycle, a very happy and fulfilling cycle. What did we get at the bottom with this deck? Oh, she who yearns, yearning, longing, and pine for. I kind of see it with this. It can be that, because when you can't move or you can't do something that you want to do, you yearn for it. You yearn for doing that or going towards it or whatever it is. So, Scorpio, let's go to the Tarot de la Nuit, the Tarot of the Night. And let's see what cards come out for your release and your receive. The release for Scorpio. The release for Scorpio. The release for Scorpio. Oh, brilliant. It's the Hanged Man. Wow, these two cards could not be more similar. Really, and what it is like just not moving, just, you know, hanging around, getting a different perspective, not going left or right. There's some sort of decision making, and the decision making too, possibly maybe this is it. Like you need to make a decision on what you want to do or how you want to move towards something or away from something, but you can't do that because you may not have all the information. Because I really feel like the Hanged Man is kind of that energy that you're trying to look at it from a different perspective. So looking at something from a different perspective also means that you're opening up your mind and even the access of information that you have to get that different perspective, right? It's kind of hard to get a different perspective if you're just looking at everything the same way, the way you've always seen it, and it's all the same information. Kind of going upside down and trying to see it differently. So that's going to be released, which tells me something's going to become clear. The different perspective will finally kick in for you. The release for Scorpio. Any other release for Scorpio? The world. Well, the world is the end of a cycle and the beginning of another cycle. So there's a big change. It's big. The world is telling us that this is pretty prominent. You know, it's interesting that she sits... It looks like a moonish though. I don't know, it's the map of the world, but the way it's lit up, it kind of looks more like the moon. And the moon is the unknown, right? She's like putting the unknown behind her. Maybe that was part of that cycle. Maybe that's a cycle that's closing off, is the unknown. And you're moving into another cycle where things become much more clear. This is good. There's a lot of like blues and kind of darks over here. Right? Like that's all kind of like dark and nighttime-ish energy over here. These two cards are so bright and colorful, like golden. So if you felt like you've been in the dark on something, that cycle is coming to an end. Either you or someone or both of you are going to be able to express something here. Some kind of truth, information. What is the receive now? What is the receive for Scorpio? The receive for Scorpio? Receive for Scorpio. Receive for Scorpio. The Eight of Cups, and what are these two? Ooh, the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, Scorpio. So maybe you haven't been feeling like you're on your game. Maybe you haven't been feeling like you're on your game. Like there's a part of you that you haven't wanted to expose. This is an interesting combination of cards for the receive. The Eight of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. The Eight of Cups too, it's, you know, like walking through this door. That's what I see here, walking through this door, the door to personal healing and happiness. Going on a journey here. This is the journey. This is the new journey that you're approaching. The final, really feels like the final step in healing and the first step in happiness, and you're taking it here. It is an unknown area, but I think as you progress through it, it will become much more abundant than maybe what you imagine it to be right now. Oh, yeah, look at the switch here. Look at these two energies. The Eight of Cups and then the Nine of Swords. And look at all the fire and the light coming through on the Knight of Swords. And the Eight of Cups is sort of dark. It does. It feels like, you know, as you start this journey, maybe it's like this slow progression. And then the light really starts to come through. It starts to become very clear, right? It's not like if you're going through some sort of a healing process, you go to bed one night and you wake up and everything is good. Like everything is in stages. And then, you know, at some point you might just say to yourself, if you've been healing from something, you might just stop and think, wow, it's been weeks since I've really thought about that. Like, and then you kind of realize, I think I finally like put that behind me. I'm finally healed from, healed from whatever that was for you. And then you probably never think about it again, really, because at that point, once you release it from your mind, then that really is truly being healed on an aspect. And the Nine of Pentacles, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good there, Scorpio. Looking very, very good. Looking after yourself. The Nine of Pentacles is very self-reliant, very independent energy. At the bottom. The Six of Cups. I always find this such a fascinating card in this deck. It's such a lonely looking card, the Six of Cups in this deck. Usually the Six of Cups is two people, and they're usually like, one is a little taller than the other, and they're kind of like kids. And one is giving a bouquet of flowers to the other one, and there's all these nice little cups of flowers around them. The Six of Cups is like a soulmate or someone from your past. And maybe you're waiting for that, but just because look at this person is just like all by themselves in this alley. Oh, wait a second now. We need to see what sits between this release and this receive. What sits between this release and this receive? Yeah, I feel very much like you're going to be, if there's something in your life that has knocked your confidence down, in something. Things are like, there's a cycle change here. You're going to be, and you know, when you don't know something or you're trapped by something that you don't have all the information about, you just start speculating and trying to figure it out. And then that's when we get ourselves into that little mind thinking trap. So what sits between the release and the receive for Scorpio? What sits between the release and the receive for Scorpio? The release and the receive. What sits between? What sits between the release and the receive for Scorpio? Emperor. Now what do you have at the bottom? The Temperance. Now Temperance is at the bottom. So patience. There's been a lot of patience here. You've been very patient. Oh, isn't this interesting? I gotta show you this. Look at this card. The way both of these women are sitting, their position is so similar, but one is looking like, it's like we're just looking at them from either the front or the back. And this longing, this yearning, pining, and here we have Temperance. And Temperance is always here to remind us that things need to be in balance first. And Temperance is very divinely guided energy. It needs to be in balance first before it can happen, or you can do that. The Emperor card. This feels very much like getting that control in your life, having that control in your life. Some sort of release here. The Emperor is often someone who has a lot of knowledge or information. The way the Emperor is looking here at these cards, I kind of feel like this might be the depiction of someone who has whatever this information might be that frees you here. Let's see, let's go into the teeny tiny tarot. What is the Emperor? Oh my gosh, look at this split. The Empress and the Ace of Swords. If you are dealing with, if this is a connection to someone that you have or you don't fully understand, there's some sort of truth coming forward. Now we have the Empress and the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands. There's definitely some sort of truth here. The Empress and the Emperor are probably the most powerful of, I guess it would describe like divine counterpart energy. The Emperor. The Emperor, we have the Knight of Pentacles. The Emperor's slow. The Emperor's got stuff to do. Oh, but the Emperor's coming. The Emperor's slow. That is 3 aces now. We had 2 aces on the splits. I'm really starting to see that those splits, there's some information in there. And the Ace of Cups. So there's some sort of clarity coming to you from someone. This is a very mature energy, the Emperor. It is Aries energy. But, you know, lately I just feel like people are in and out of so many different energies. I don't know how important that is lately. It just feels like people are really in and out. It's how this person, what this person is doing. This person, for you, is likely someone who wears a lot of different hats in life. Because I see the Emperor as the embodiment of all the kings in the deck. All the kings in the tarot. So at any given point, they are very much like the King of Pentacles or the King of Swords. They can be the King of Cups. This is a very mature individual that can have very deep, very strong emotions and feelings. And it can also be the King of Wands. Like this person also knows how to have a good time, be very creative. But so there's something, but it's been very slow, but there is this tied up and hanged man energy hitting over here that's going to be released. The Eight of Cups. Let's get clarification for that for you. The Eight of Cups for Scorpio. The Eight of Cups for Scorpio. Oh, and now you have the Eight. You have the Eight of Wands with the Eight of Cups. I think, yeah, this is like more information, more movement. There's definitely a big change here from like, really like nothing, from being stuck to, with the Eight of Cups, you may not have had any contact or communication with someone. Maybe they've been on an Eight of Cups journey, and this Eight of Wands is coming in. Like there's communication, there's movement, it's swift. The Knight of Wands. Clarification for the Knight of Wands. The King of Swords and the Sun. Very passionate movement. Now, this is the funny thing. Because the Knight of Wands is like action, like passionate action. Putting your desires into action. Like that creative energy of you. Doing something with it. And then we have the King of Swords and the Sun. I almost want to say you may be dealing with someone who will speak like very matter of fact, sort of like very matter of fact, very practical. Their body language will be different though. It's such an unusual combination. To have the King of Swords and the Knight of Wands is such an unusual combination. This person probably expresses more physically than they do verbally. And when I say expresses more, it probably like their feelings, their desires, they express that more physically. Like you get their body language too, right? There's something about that here for you. And the Sun is wish fulfillment. So I don't know, it can get much better. Can it get much better, Scorpio? It seems pretty good for you. The Three of Swords is at the bottom. So you may have, some of you have been dealing with something that has broken your heart. If there's information you didn't know, I want to say that's the biggest part of this reading. If there's some sort of information that you haven't known, that's been keeping you back or making you feel stuck, that will change. I'm going to go into the Journey of Love Oracle deck and get a final message for Scorpio. A final message for Scorpio. Final message for Scorpio. All right, what did you get? Sacred Convergence. Oh, number 28. I don't think I've pulled this in a while. What do we have, Scorpio? Number 28. Sacred Convergence. There is a coming together happening within your body and soul, a unification of all that is within you. This is akin to traveling to a strange land, as all sorts of new sensations, not all welcome at first, begin to make themselves known to you. If you are experiencing discomfort within your own body or uncertainty and a sense of expansion to include more of life in your thoughts and feelings, then you are conscious of the sacred convergence. It is like two worlds or more colliding. If you are sensitive, you will feel it happening as an important event without necessarily having a physical situation to attribute the experience to or upon which to hang an explanation. That's kind of interesting because it's almost like there's something that you're not knowing. Maybe you feel it, right? Maybe you feel it, but you haven't heard it or you haven't seen it in writing. You can just feel it. You may also be encountering this in a very physical sense by finding yourself in situations which you previously would have avoided. You may be meeting people and thrown into relationship with them, apparently more by circumstance than by your own conscious choosing. This is a meeting of you with your shadow and something to rejoice in, even if it is uncomfortable at times. Be gentle and loving with yourself and kindly seek to find the beauty in what you are learning about yourself in your interactions and experiences. You are a wise soul seeking to know yourself rather than judge others. Remember your divine perfection as you are thrilled and challenged in this time of great growth. You are guided to be curious, as though traveling to a foreign land and remaining open to experiencing its treasures. This oracle holds a message for you. A deeper part of yourself is calling you forward. Any discontent, struggle, anxiety, or fear is a subconscious recognition of this. Don't worry, you are a unique plant in the divine garden. You don't have to know what plant you are in order to grow. You just need to live each day and the growth happens naturally. Then you can see over time the beauty of your true nature revealing itself to you. It will be a revelation to be relished. Well, that's interesting. That is very kind of cryptic. I would have picked that one for Scorpio too. I really feel like a whole bunch of like secondary deeper messages and meanings in that. Is very interesting. There you go, Scorpio. That's your release and your receive for right now. And thank you guys very much. And until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.